All right, so let's get started. So let's look at dollar index here. Dollar index still looking. I'm still looking for a possible long on this. I still like the overall structure that we're seeing. This is still an impulsive phrase, and we're still having a correctional structure. We're still in this larger structure, and we're just at the bottom here. Anything can happen here, in my opinion. Is just looking for some sort of bullish opportunity on a lower time frame, and looking like we might get this, either during this New York time or maybe during the Asia session. Um, but I do like what I'm seeing here in terms of price action. We had this kind of a decent, another descending channel going down, and then we had this bullish pop up. So everything is good, and it looks like it's consolidating here, which is also good, good for a possible bullish continuation from this point forward. Um, Probably not likely to happen during this session though because of the so, but I do see maybe during the Asian session, if this all corrects and finishes, we can see the bullish move, and that will give us potential bullish on all the dollars as well, right? So I still see this as a possibility. As long as price is still within this larger channel, I still have a bias, still go for strengthened dollar in the upcoming week. All right, so that is dollar index. Let's go to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar talk about that. I talk about that we're in the overall kind of expanding structure. We had this price from the channel, and largely we're forming this expanding kind of structure, which is good. We have a few swing highs and swing low, and here's where price is very interesting because we're seeing this again ascending channel reversal, lower time frame. It's rather very corrected price. So I like this correction. So just want to see a little bit more momentum or commitment from the price. We're seeing a top here, right? And I talk about we're at the top of this overall expanding structure. So this move can happen. It's just that we want to see that bullish kind of breakout and then decide to enter. So that's Kiwi. That's Aussie dollar. Let's move on to Kiwi dollar because it's really clean for the downside. Okay, just it's just continue to correct itself. But the way how I see it is every time when I see price is so corrective, usually at the top of the overall structure, and this is just super corrective price action. It's not. You're usually going to get two things, and you're going to get that breakout, right? We're always looking for that bearish impulse coming in, right? We have this higher time frame structure. We know it's a corrective structure and correction within correction. Once all the momentum is there, we can get that push down from that's on the higher probable side. That's the one I'm looking for. Or it stops correcting and it just popped to the upside strongly, and then that will be a change of bias for me to continue. But overall, looking at this, you just see that price is just stalling in this area as it corrects itself. That we're just going to get that really strong bearish push down. And then when it happens, it's going to happen really fast, right? We've seen these kind of price action over and over again as well. We see a lot of these bullish push up, right? And when it's impulsive, it's going to go really fast, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Still looking to happen. Um, in the upcoming day or a week or so, still letting the price does its thing. So let's jump into a euro dollar. Euro dollar, looking at this as a potential double top now. You can see that this is clearly, again, ascending kind of structure, ascending. We see these a lot. And latest price action, like I said, double top here. And you can even argue that there is another ascending channel within this larger one. And just looking for more bearish kind of price action. You can see potential head and shoulder pattern here. This can be a right shoulder here that to continue downside. A little commitment would be nice. Like I said, a little bit more build up on the price here. Potentially a correction here would be nice to drop down from this point forward. And looking at from a more higher time frame approach is that we're still at the top of this area with overall structure to the downside if you get that bearish move sell. Okay, So euro dollar, so let's go into pound dollar. Pound dollar also shaping up. As you can see that most of these price is just in this kind of same kind of style, right? You can see this kind of ascending reversal structure. You're seeing them across the board. Tomorrow or next week, but what it matters is price is just getting very, very, very corrective, and it's getting even more corrective as we see. So he's really looking for any kind of bearish momentum. There was a bearish reversal. You can see the small ascending channel, and then price drop down. A little more perhaps you want to see, because we're trapping still in this correctional structure, the better way is to wait for a breakout and then wait for kind of the same correction that you're going to see here, right? And then potentially looking for the downside to the lows of this area here. And then if we zoom out, there's still so much more if we actually break out this structure and then just fall into the next bearish move. Okay. So pound dollar is still looking really clean. A few dollar pairs, like I said, Kiwi dollar, pound dollar, they all look pretty good. Dollar CAD. Let's go about dollar CAD really quick. We know that structurally we're in this kind of a overall kind of a parallel channel structure. We have a few swing highs and swing lows. And this is key here because we break the low, we did not continue lower. Instead, we had this reversal impulse up and then potentially a continuation correction in the making, which is good. And what happened here is one of two ways is that because price is pretty corrective here, you can see that this can be a possible corrective structure. Okay, and what's more likely to happen here is that this correction will finish, and then we're just going to see that breakout and then wait for a continuation. Continued. Less likely one I see is that price will continue trickles down, continue kind of just correct itself down in some sort of corrective descending channel, and then hitting the previous bottom. So another double bottom kind of speak, and then continue upward this way. I prefer is the break that we just broke the bottom. We had an impulsive move, we had a correctional structure, and then continue forward. That is more the probable case in my opinion. Let's go to dollar peso. Dollar peso is also another one that I'm looking closely on. In this area, we see this across all the board. This is clearly a descending channel or falling wedge, very reversal-like structure. We're at the bottom of the structure here. We broke the previous low, and then we break it very correctively. And overall, you can see that we're in this larger parallel. And every time when we see the similar price action, you can see this is similar price action, descending channel, larger channel structure, and then we have the bullish price, right? Bullish price action. I mean, so similar idea here that we could possibly see that bullish breakout, and it will happen very short. It's going to happen like the previous move. So going down to lower time frame, going down to the lower time frame, kind of just looking for more clarity. You're seeing that price is in, again, this kind of a channel structure, but instead it's more of a bullish kind of price action. You have this up to reverse this bearish push down and then a larger structure in the making. And just want to wait for some sort of a strong breakout from here, and then lower time frame correction would be very nice to continue the buy. Very clean kind of price action. You want to look for these kind of price action where they're kind of overextended. Price is very overextended, and when you see prices just very corrective, it's usually waiting for that strong push out from that point forward. Okay, so that's kind of all the dollar pairs I'm looking at for this upcoming, pretty much the remaining days to the weekend. Still likely Canadian, London, or New York session till Friday closes. So we still have a full day or more for the price to develop, right? So don't discount those. You can still see a little bit more bullish activity still in the remaining days or so, right? So still keep an eye on most of them. And looking at Aussie CAD here, I like what I'm seeing here because we have a kind of a double top from the recent price action. We're seeing this kind of ascending channel as well, so very corrective price. And you see if this is to break out from the structure, and then waiting for a correction would be ideal to continue to the lows. I think this one is okay. I do like Kiwi CAD more. Go over Kiwi CAD after. So Aussie Swiss as well. We know Aussie Swiss is at the hello. So we had this as a double top here, and then price again in this kind of ascending channel structure. And you can see that we have, again, a few swing highs and a few swing lows, and you have this ascending channel within this kind of ascending channel. So very, very good price action. I still have the momentum to continue down today, tomorrow, or whenever. But it's just a matter of time, in my opinion. Okay, you can see this is very corrective price action. Okay, so still looking for, again, seeing something to happen here. Is this going to be a correction? This looks like a head and shoulder, right? We push down, downward, break the previous low, and then we can turn into a full-on kind of a bearish move to the lows. Okay, so Aussie Swiss looks very good. Jumping to a few yen pairs really quick. Looking at, again, Aussie yen had a potential sell, possible sell, and then just then continued lower. Instead, we just see kind of price push up once more, but we're pretty much approaching this previous top again. And again, you have to see it from a higher time frame perspective. That higher time frame, multi-time frame analysis is more important than look as a bullish move. Sure, this is a bullish move, but we gotta kind of take into consideration of what the overall higher time frame is doing, right? We overall higher time frame, we push up so high, and then we had this kind of a corrective ascending channel structure, and this is a clear impulse out of this kind of expanding kind of structure here, right? Very corrective price action. You're seeing impulse correction. And once again, we're at this top of the structure, and you can see that price is stalling in this area. So looking for a possible correction to develop here, a redevelop here, and continue lower and making this a double top here, and then potentially an M-style pattern, right? M-style pattern structure to reverse the price continue downwards. So that's Aussie yen. So to pound yen, originally I was looking at price to kind of react to this top here. Didn't happen, but we're just looking more looking like an expanding structure now. You can see that on the lower time frame that we're not continue any higher. This is not a continuation to go higher. This looks like, to me, it's perhaps not finished or whatever, but it looks like it's going to reverse the price down. Okay, so, and again, we're looking at the higher time frame. We can't forget that we're still looking at this is a potential strong impulse, and that this is certainly going to be a continuation correction, but we're still looking for the downside, right? And the higher time frame wise, you see it over again, right? This is still larger impulse, larger correction, impulse, smaller correction, still looking for the impulse downwards, right? It's just not going to happen in a straight line, right? It just takes longer. The most of the time, price on impulse, right? But likely we're going to see the next impulse if it resumes, right? It's just the same thing as this move. This is such a strong impulse, and this is a larger correction, and then we're going to have the next impulse, right? Kiwi yen. Kiwi yen looks clean as well. I favor yen over most of the yen pairs. I just like the overall structure. I talk about this every time when I talk about Kiwi yen is when the price is at the top of this overall channel structure, we know that it's super corrective price action. We know that price, this is a higher time frame now. We push overall structure, this is not a continuation, right? You're going down to a lower time frame. This is just a lower time frame move, but it's not a continuation for the higher time frame, right? Higher time frame wise, I see it as this. This is the strong impulse from the COVID. This is a reversal correction, reversal impulse, larger kind of a neutral correction in the making. And again, every time we're at the top, this is a previous top as well, right? This looks very clean for a potential reversal. And this, again, people, when I talk about when price pop out on the lower time frame, and I mentioned that when the price was developing, like looking more like a continued, and I mentioned don't just think that's going to happen because structurally it can evolve into something more. And this is exactly what I'm seeing now is instead of a bullish price action, this is an impulse, potential bullish price action to break out. We had this push out, suddenly we're just going to trend once more, right? And we'll be keen to see what happens if we just break out from this point forward in the continuation downwards, and that will be pretty much turn into a bearish sell opportunity, and knowing that this correction then becomes a reversal correction to bring the price down. Okay, so Still looking, still a little bit more developed area. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. How's Bitcoin? I'll go over Bitcoin after. I talk about Bitcoin is not going to continue upwards last session, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing as well. So we'll talk about Bitcoin after. Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, also a lot cleaner, much inverse correlated, but Euro Aussie here, in my opinion, hitting the double bottom, rather corrective structure here on the lower time frame, and just looking like this is not going to continue lower, rather than we're going to see a reversal price action very, very soon in the market. When you have a strong impulse down like this, and it start acting like a very kind of a corrective price action in this area, you're looking for a reversal, right? You're looking to see this is a double bottom here on the recent double bottom, push up, correction, push up. This potentially is another correction, and you want to see that bullish continuation to price to break out from the side. Okay, so Euro Aussie looks okay. Aussie, like I said, Aussie Swiss looks a little bit better. And Euro Pound, really quick. Um, Euro Pound, we talk about again is rather we talk about price breaking the previous low, and then this was a potential buy. I know some of you guys got into this buy, and the price push up, and I was kind of saying, wait for a correction here and wait for a breakout. Just never happened. You can see prices continue trickles down, pretty much back to the previous low. Really good because we know that we're at the previous low again, and you can see prices potentially having a bullish reversal. But because you've seen the prices super corrective in this area, even this last buy did not continue. So I would say the best idea is to actually wait out and then look for continuation. That's probably the safest bet. And because we're in this overall higher time frame, larger structure, so we understand that the buy is going to be somewhat short term to the top, and then ultimately the higher time frame looks still the sell after they come here. So that's Euro Pound. Let's go over a few more Kiwi pairs, which is all pretty much all the Kiwi pairs. Again, they're just shaping up to be really nice. But are they ready today? Are they ready, next week? It's just all speculation, guys. So the price is in this longer, deeper kind of a descending channel structure. The price cannot just keep going forever, right? Talk about this in Kiwi dollar as well, right? Um, just not sustainable in my opinion, based on my experience. You're either going to and continue higher, which is the more probable move to see what the price will do, or the unlikely scenario is price is just completely shatters this descending channel and then forms a continuation this point forward. Then you know that this is going from the market from a higher time frame approach. From the higher time frame approach, this impulse out of this over a larger structure, and then continuation downwards. Then you know that higher time frame, this structure is over. This higher time frame structure is completely over, and we're just into a strong. I personally don't see this happening. I see it more as because this move going down is super corrective, even to this part of the price, that a larger structure need to be made before the continuation downwards, meaning that I want to see to the upside a larger structure like this potentially for the sell. Okay, I just don't see this is the move that continue lower and lower and lower because it's already moving too much already. Okay, so let's go CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss finally we're a little bit more downside now. We're talking about the higher time frame structure. This is still an impulsive move and larger structure in the making. We had that previous top, right? So two swing highs, two swing lows. And then we had this first impulse down, larger correction in the making, potentially looking downwards, looking pretty clean. You can see action-wise, we're looking pretty clean here for the downside here. Okay, so that's CAD Swiss. Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD looks clean as well. Okay, very similar like Kiwi dollar, right? We're in this kind of ascending, looking like we're having a potential double top here, and then just want to see the price break out from this point forward, looking for a reversal from this kind of correction that we're seeing, and then break out from there, followed by a lower time frame correction for the sell to the low as a minimum, and then looking for high time frame wide, very clean for more downside to the lows here. Okay. Last one I want to go over Kiwi Swiss. Very similar like Euro Kiwi. You see this ascending channel. It's just an inverse of that Euro Kiwi one that we just saw. And again, looking very clean on the lower time frame. We had this push up, so continuation, and then does not continue, push down, and then potentially a lower time frame correction here to push the price down lower. So waiting for a price to break out, and then looking for a entry from this point forward, looking for a head and shoulder as well, and to the lows of the bottom here. Again, first target and second target will be definitely to the lows of the structure here. Okay. So that is all the currency pair I'm looking at for the upcoming, little bit of time. Pound CAD relative favorite, but still looks okay. I like the recent price action we're seeing. We have this push up and then kind of an AM style pattern, impulse down, and then larger correction in the making, and then ascending channel reversal, looking for the next bearish push down from this kind of impulse correction. So still needs a little bit development, I think, kind of stalling in this area. So I want to see a breakout from here and then continue lower would be more ideal for my personal opinion. And higher time frame wise, if you just zoom out a little bit more, does seem like this move can happen. This kind of reevaluate what the price would do in this general area. Okay, so that's all the currency pair I'm looking at for the upcoming day or so. Any questions, guys? Let me know. And jumping to So let's look at gold really quick. Gold is on most people's watch list. Talk about correction is very probable for the next sell down. So impulse correction, impulse, and then lower time frame correction. We push down the price again. Excuse me. And then price again when it was forming consolidation. I was looking for a little bit bigger structure, something that's going to be a little bit bigger, something in the size of this, instead of the size of this, which is what we're seeing right now. If you can see, we're developing a structure here, good. But I was rather to because we just pushed down so much. It's not that this correction will not go, just like this correction went, but it's just that I personally, from an experience point of view, because we dropped down so much, it's kind of the same drop. You want to see a larger correction in the making before the continuation more, because it can just drop down, tag out you all, forming a larger correction like this and still drop afterwards. So here's a little bit to be careful or be a little bit more patient. But of course, this is depending on your strategy, your style, or how you trade, your plan. Maybe you like. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as you know the risk, or you want to be a little bit more conservative and wait for a larger structure here. I didn't go to EuroCAD because it wasn't on my watch list, but I'll talk about EuroCAD. Still on a higher time frame. Are you talking about this? I really like. I know what you're talking about. This is probably what you're looking at. Even me, who doesn't even trade cup and handle, is that my understanding of it that after the scoop, there's a immediate kind of a correction here, kind of a flag kind of thing. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but that's my understanding of it. I don't even trade this kind of pattern or structure. But my understanding is this is where it's supposed to take off, right? Not when it's making something like this, or the flag kind of continuation downward. I mean, continuation. So, anyways, so that was gold, right, guys? So got gold. Let's talk about another one, silver. Silver doesn't look as attractive like gold, but because bottom of the structure, if I have to pick one, obviously I will pick gold. Again, but structurally we have all these swing low and swing high, which is good. Nature of a corrective structure. Then we had this first impulse down, first correction in the making, another impulse down, another correction in the making. Forming a correction here. What is going on here exactly? Not too clear. I think gold was much cleaner because this is a clearly like a flag kind of structure, very similar in like this, right? But silver doesn't look as great. It could form something like this, but needs a little bit more development. But we have this push to the upside, up here consolidation. We push down, larger correction, potentially looking for continuation. Okay. So that's all the commodity ones I'm looking at. Not much else is on my watch list. Oil, but take a loss here. I didn't. The short I was looking for was something like this, and then the sell was happening here, push down, correction, but just didn't continue. So not interested in oil anymore at the moment. Yeah, I'll go over crypto after all these indices. What's up going on through morning. Pound cat I already went over. Okay, so pound cat not my favorite. Just looking for bearish continuation on that one. So let's talk about the indices really quick. S&P 500 still look very clean for me to see the downside potential on this one. Okay. I went over Aussie yen. Personally, not looking to buy Aussie yen. I'm looking for a sell actually because we're approaching this recent double top. We're at a higher time frame, larger structure, expanding structure. So I'm actually looking for a sell to complete this M style pattern like this. Okay, but trade your plan, of course. Trade that's if it's your plan to go long, then stay with it, right? So S&P 500, I talk about this every week, and I'm still talking. We're making. We go down to the lower time frame. Now we're having these swing highs and swing lows. So the nature of a corrective structure, and lower time frame wise, we had this double top here, which is good. We had this push down, and potentially this is a correction in the making that we can see bearish continuation. Okay, and even if price continue to the top, to this top here, I would still be looking for a sell. I'm not looking for the buy at all in terms of price action. When I've seen this overall corrective price action, this move up, there was just no continuations, right? There was just no continuation. Instead, we had a bearish push down, and this is a corrective structure that very likely to reverse all this price. Okay, so still looking for a bearish opportunity from here moving down. And even if it breaks up, I will still be looking for a potential double top reversal price from this point forward downwards. Good evening. Nice to see you, Leslie. So that's S&P 500. Let's go US 30, so Dow Jones. So down, what do I see? Well, very similar like S&P 500, right? We're seeing this as a very rather corrective price action structure. You see that, again, with prices maintaining all within the structure, we have a few swing highs and swing lows, right? So very corrective price action. There's no impulsive move anymore. And going down to the lower time frame, again, we had this reason double top or triple top, you want to call. First bearish push down, first continuation correction they're making. Can this continue downwards more? Really keen to see what will happen the next day or week or so. But structurally, if we just zoom out here on a higher time frame, this is clearly a top, right? This is the previous top or all-time top, so to speak. When price was climbing during this time, people were saying, "Oh, it broke all-time high." Well on the market, and then once it hits like pretty much the double top here, and then you can see rather corrective price action, and then that's when COVID happened, right? Of course, no one would know all this can happen, but price action kind of gives you a clue, right? So again, we're seeing the same clue again. We're seeing a double top here. Price again is in a larger corrective structure, and in the kind of the latest price action, you're seeing kind of a very reversal, like very corrective price action. We're seeing the same thing here, right? So if we're going to learn something from the past, this is it, right? This is it. Certainly, I'm not saying we're going to see this kind of strong bearish push down, but I do see a bearish push down to the previous low. Is very likable and probable. And then once this structure is finished, this is still rather very neutral in my opinion. But once we break the lows here, that'll give you a more clue as is this going to continue higher, and this is just one big impulse, and this is a larger correction to push up, or from this bottom, we're just going to break out from the previous low and then continuation down to a previous low, right? So price action wise, it always gives you a better clue kind of where the price may go, right? If we see all the previous price action, it's gonna give you a little bit more clarity in my opinion. So let's go NASDAQ. Not as clean as the other two, but still we're seeing the same kind of similar structure. This is rather corrective, right? Few swing highs, few swing lows. And then again, we broke the previous high, did not continue. We had a bullish push up, and then just did not continue onwards. Instead, we had a reversal impulse and then potential continuation correction to push the price down. Um, my approach the same. If we go to lower time frame, is this going to continue higher, or is this going to just drop down and form a head and shoulder and continue downwards? I rather see the down move, right? I see it more probable. And again, even if it continues higher, this is why, even if it continues higher, and then I just want to see what will happen to the previous top, because price can still reverse from the previous top. We've seen this kind of price action a lot, right? Price continues high, and then a lot of buyers are jumping in the market because we broke all-time high, and then suddenly we just see a big push down from the market, right? So that's Nasdaq. So that's kind of all the U.S. indices I'm looking at for the remaining days and next week. Do I do one-on-ones? Work in progress. If you join my Telegram, I have a lot more other educational stuff you can see. Um, if this is the first time hearing me, Coconut, join my Telegram because I have a lot more information on there, a lot more for the upcoming year as well in terms of contents that I want to bring out to everyone. Um, which what I already been bringing out all the educational videos and streams and lessons. That's already all on my YouTube and Telegram, right? So you can check that out, and then you can see what I have planned for next year. Do you think it might change your bearish bias? Here's what I think about all this. It's like I don't, why I say about I don't really pay attention. I don't really care about news to see it from the charts, right? So let's just say, for example, something happened, Fed, whatever happens, and then price pushed to the upside. Okay, so that's just a sign telling you that this structure is no longer going to be a continuous. A reverses all the correction we're going to have for the previous out move, then just simply looking for a larger continuation that's going to take off, right? I don't have to marry to my analysis. I talk about this all the time. Is that when the price action, when the structure, when the market condition to change, I'm just saying, okay, so that's what market is doing now. So all my previous analysis is wrong, or it's not applicable, so to speak. Not wrong, it's more not applicable because you didn't see the confirmation, right? So if the confirmation didn't happen, so your analysis is not applicable in this case, and if price continue, then look for the continuation and just take it from there, right? So you don't have to be feeling like, oh, my analysis is wrong, or shoot, it didn't work out the way I planned. Of course, this is trading, guys. Your analysis, your forecast, it's not going to work out all the time. You deal with it, plan. I talk about this in one of my video about forecasting, right? Talking about planning. If I'm looking for sell, yeah, I want to look for sell. and I'll look for continuation. I want to look for a few things happening in the market in order for me to execute. Then if not, what is my contingency plan? Well, if price continue high, our previous top or recent double top can happen. That's the contingency plan. And what happens if price just totally reverse up? Then simply what I said. If it's going to reverse up, then change my bias on the sell, on the bearish move. Then I want to see some sort of continuation and then continue push the price up. So that's with all these ones. What's your Telegram link? Can you scroll up to the top? That will I put my Telegram and YouTube channel on the top. Okay, so let's move on. Hope that answers some questions. So let's talk about all the Bitcoin or all the crypto. Sorry, um, just even yesterday or not yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, right? Even yesterday during the New York session, I talked about Bitcoin, right? Those of you who were here last time know that when I talk about when the price move up so high and so fiercely towards the previous top, all-time top, and I mentioned about your just price is unlikely to continue higher. What it's likely to do is a larger structure that it's going to create, right? So that's exactly what happened just in one day or so. You can see that price dropped down how much? $1,800 in one day, right? So that clearly just shows that, you know, this is a sign from the market. We have an overextended bullish run. Your price is unlikely to continue higher to break the previous all-time top. What it's likely to do is just going to be forming a larger correction, right? Something like this, right? Even or something even like this. When I go up to the daily time frame, right? This is a strong bullish move. This is a larger correction. This is a strong bullish move, and because we you're likely to see a larger structure just like this before the next up move, right? You see after this larger structure, the next up move begin, right? But it takes a long time, right? It takes a while, right? To 60 days market or a message from the market, so to speak, is that after a long exhausted bullish move, right, you're just likely to see a more corrective structure happening. I don't even see this can even reverse up from this point forward, right? We had this ascending channel, we hit the previous top, had this time frame, we had this M cell pattern, and then price drop down, right? So again, this is a good sign, at least from my point of view, is that you can see a lot more strength in the potential dollar if all these bitcoins or crypto drop. You can potentially see all this. Okay, so what indicators do I use? I don't really use any indicators, just price action, market structures, and things like that. Did I cover DAX 30? No, not yet. Give me a second. I'm gonna finish the cryptos. I'll go back to that DAX. Okay, so do I have a price target for Bitcoin correction? No, because I won't even looking to sell. Not looking to sell Bitcoin at all, to be honest. So because this is to me, whatever is going to happen in the near future, it's all going to be corrective price action. So I don't really see the point of trading uh, buy or sell, to be honest. I just see that it's going to be a long period consolidation now. Once I see this kind of move coming, right? We just hit the previous top, we pushed down already. So just even if it doesn't create something like this, it should create something like if it's going to continue higher. So that's going to take weeks to develop anyways. So I'm not interested in the buy or sell anymore at this point. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. What else? I think most of the crypto all in a bearish kind of move, right? Even Ethereum, I talk about Ethereum as well because when we're approaching to that previous kind of top area, right? This is a previous swing high top. Again, it's similar like Bitcoin. We didn't touch the top and then we just had this kind of a massive uh, bearish kind of drop, right? So likely continuation downwards a little bit more. Again, not interested in the buy. The buy I talk about was from here, right? We broke out this overall structure, we impulse all, and this is a correction for the correction push out. But you know, very hard to catch one of these, right? You see it afterwards, but you know, that was the original buy. That's the only kind of valid buy in my opinion. Now, in my opinion, just going to turn into a little bit more bearish kind of move in the upcoming days or weeks or months. Link as well was looking for a buy out of this correction or even this correction. We push up and then just kind of turns into a bearish move. So looking at this potentially, okay, if we're going to see structure, that if this is the push down and this is all corrected price action, and this is the ascending kind of channel, we're at the bottom now. Can we continue lower with the correction to break down? Possible, but not looking too clean in my opinion. The upside looks much cleaner when we're looking at from this point forward, right? I talk about when price was in this area, we had this bullish push up, correction, push up again, and then larger correction. I was more looking for the bullish push up to the top now. Okay. So I'll talk about Ripple, right? Yeah, again, so the buy was at the previous. Oh, right? This was months ago, I guess, or 1 month ago, really, or 2 months ago. Sorry. But structurally, we broke out of this higher time frame structure. We had a impulse, correction, impulse, and then larger correction, and then we push up again. And this was always my target anyway. Going to be in the trade, just still a very strong down move. That this can just be a larger expanding structure to continue lower. And the previous swing high is always going to be a good target for these kind of larger swing trades or larger kind of moves. And after that, you can see price immediately. We had this kind of reversal, we push down, and then potentially can develop into a continuation downwards. So that's why I'm not interested in buy or sell anymore. I do see the sell a little bit more probable now. We just hit the previous top, so double top here, and really price can continue low. You had this really strong push up and then a really strong push down. And I talk about this all the time is when you have a strong impulse up, and if there's no continuation to continue the price, instead you see reversal correction and you see a reversal impulse, and that's usually a sign. This bull we're going to continue, and we're going to get more bearish move continue afterwards. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the market develop in upcoming weeks or so. But not interesting in the buy anymore. The buy will be at the bottom here, in my opinion. Selling would be crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not really looking to sell or Bitcoin, to be honest. That's just personal opinion. So, DEX 30, right? So, talk about DEX. So again, I talk about this maybe last two outlook or whatever. When I talk about push up, right? I talk about when we see bullish push up like this, and then looks like there was a continuation, continue. And I talk about that even the continuation happens, in my opinion, will be short-lived because we're just in this larger expanding structure here. You can see that very clean kind of swing highs and that even this continuation push the top, and then I'll be still looking for a potential sell because structurally that is what I'm looking at, right? And you can see what is supposed to be a bullish continuation turns out to be more of a corrective structure now. So this correct, and become no, and then we can just see the next bearish move now, right? I don't see it as a continuation to go up. Okay, you can see it on more higher time frame. We had this push down and push out, but it's rather corrective still, in my opinion, in this corrective structure. Okay, so you're seeing the similar kind of ascending channel structure in the making. Okay, and pretty much at the previous top now. So let it continue here, let it correct itself a little bit longer here. And like I said, even it continues to the top, if there's reversal price action, I still think the downside will be likely. Okay, and it's very similar like USD and S40, very similar structure, right? You can see this is very similar like DAX. Again, ascending channel to the top, right? Looking for a reversal price action. Friends 40, very similar again, right? You had this expanding structure, had a larger kind of middle section structure, correct itself up, but continuation. This is the key I always talk about is when you see a strong bullish push or a bearish move, whatever, do you see a continuation correction push up, or do you see corrected price action that could be a reversal price action, reversal correction to reverse the price? So on the other indices, any questions on those guys? Yeah, so that's it, guys. Again, looking for the few possible dollar pairs, right? Um, I like the few Swiss pairs, few Aussie and few Kiwi pairs as well. They all look pretty clean. Just need a little bit more development or a little bit more commitment, so to speak, from the market, right? This is kind of what we always want to look for. It's just a little bit more little momentum coming to the market because we want to see that continuation, right? We want to see that bearish continuation. But can it happen? Can it happen today, tomorrow, next week, right? It's all, it's all speculation really, right? But for us, just waiting for the right price action to develop, right? Waiting for this to break out, waiting for a larger continuation correction on the lower time frame, and then this is clearly the ascending channel reversal and just looking for the next push down. Okay. UK 100, sure. Yeah, appreciate your analysis. Have a good day, you too. So UK 100. So again, it's very similar like the previous indices we just went over. We're at this previous top now, right? We supposedly had this correction. I was looking for more bullish continuation, but as I see this more, as I see price kind of stall in this area, it's very rather corrective. It's not really going anywhere. And then I kind of go into the lower time frame correction, lower time frames, and to me, this is not really a continuation. This looks too corrective. It looks more as a reversal correction to me. Of course, this can continue develop or whatever, but so far what it looks like after a strong bullish push slowly bring down the price lower. Okay, and we're at just at this previous tower now as well, so a potential double top in the making. And again, price is corrective, right? So for me personally, not really looking for the buy. I rather want to see this correction develop further, maybe a strong, and then continuation is always going to give you that last confirmation for the downside. Okay. Thanks. Everything has a great Thanksgiving. Actually, a couple videos before. I will be in US till December, and then I'll go back to Canada. So uh, I'll be here for another 2 weeks or so maximum, and then I'll go back to Canada. So okay. So what else? Yeah. So that's it, guys. So Any questions, let me know on my Telegram or YouTube. Telegram here, Aries Trading, if you're interested, add this one. So that's all where I post all my contents. And someone asked about videos. Yes, YouTube videos. Go to my YouTube channel, and that's all my educational lessons. It's all in my playlist. Okay, I know people ask me a lot, so that's why I want to do this so easier for me to explain. All my things, price action structures, psychology, risk management, things like that. It's all here, so it's easier to see. Okay, so yeah, have a good day, everyone. So happy Thanksgiving if you're in US, and be safe out there. Everywhere I go, US, Canada, they're just saying there's a surge of coronavirus positive cases, the surge, right? So whatever they call it, second wave, third wave, whatever it is, but things are getting back, perhaps, right? So um, again, not I'm not hoping for anything bad, but this can be a sign that we're going to see the next kind of bearish in the market, right? Because that is what the original thing caused the market to crash, right? Maybe we'll see it again because of this, because of the surge, because of more people getting infected, or maybe for some reason the vaccines don't work out, right? I don't know, right? But that can all be a speculation, and that can all happen as well to cause another market crash, right? So be safe out there, guys. Be safe and be careful and stuff. Be careful for others as well, right? So, and have a good weekend, everyone. See you guys weekly outlook next week. All right. Thank you very much.